Hello, game fans! Now, back in 1990, I was in Camp Nintendo, opting for the Super Nintendo over the Mega Drive or the Genesis as it's called in America. But I often peered over that 16-bit fence to see what was happening in Sega World and to see what games that they could entice me with. Now, Strider was one of those games. Seeing this futuristic ninja run and flip his way through levels, slicing and dicing all the different enemies, whether there was some kind of weird bear or dog to robotic gorillas, I was definitely in awe. I did dabble with the game and I played it at friends' houses, but I didn't really get to spend any real time with it. So when the rebooted Strider came out on the Xbox One, I was all over it. But was the effort by Double Helix worthy of the Grandmaster, or should they have just left Strider back in the 90s? Here's my review of Strider.
I had such mixed emotions going into this game, as the warm fuzzy feelings of nostalgia overwhelmed me. The Strider reboot is an updated version of the Strider that I remember, a side-scrolling ninja hack and slash where you slice your way through levels that range from sprawling metropolis to barren ice bases. Back in the 90s, the game felt fast-paced and acrobatic, but to watch it back now on YouTube, it looks positively stationary. But thankfully, the reboot is 8 times faster than the original, and the levels are huge in comparison. The longevity of the game has been extended by strategic power-up systems that empower both your sword and your physical abilities, and they are upgraded over time, allowing you to dispatch bigger enemies, unlock certain doors in certain areas, and leap to previously out of reach places. The action is still very much on the 2D axis, but the game does use some 3D graphics. Many of the cutscenes show off the depth of this third dimension, and a number of the enemies and bosses take advantage of this extra depth to help bring the game into the 21st century. These 3D in-engine cutscenes do tease you with how Strider might look if it was rebooted entirely in 3D. However, once you get back into that warm, nostalgic ninja action, you forget that you had such silly ideas. The enemies are varied enough, and the family of female ninjas known as the Four Winds offer a welcome break to the constant foot soldier mashing. Some of the bosses feel more epic than others, but they all do serve to move the narrative along. The story merges elements of all the previous games, but mainly focuses on you overthrowing a maniacal dictator known as the Grandmaster. The gameplay is immensely fun, and you feel like you have total control of the young Strider. Sadly, some of the backdrops are a little bit drab, and many of the interiors do feel the same. If anything, I would say that the power-up progression does take a little bit too long, as I was eager to flip and slash and smash straight from the outset, but I had to wait almost 3 or 4 levels before I had a full complement of thug smashing moves at hand. However, I commend Double Helix for taking a game that used to be played for minutes at a time and extending its lifespan for the modern gamer. Once the story mode is complete, you can either go back over the older levels with your newfound skills to unlock costumes, power-ups, or even concept art, or you can test your skills on the additional modes, survival challenges, and beacon runs. The former tests your fighting skills, whereas the latter puts your speed and agility skills to the test. For those that remember the original, this is a happy jaunt down memory lane that will not disappoint. The game is fun to play and the controls feel solid and considered. The sound and graphics have all been lovingly updated, and the game has been extended with a progression tree and these additional modes. For those not familiar with the gaming icon that was Strider, it might seem a bit like a glorified handheld game with perfectly passable visuals and retro appeal. Either way, there's a lot of good, clean, simple fun to be had with Strider, and with the price going as low as £5 in some of the sales, it's well worth a play.
You are indeed a true warrior, and I, a man of my word. Here is your key.
Finish him!